Our first ever day of picking NBA games did not go all that bad as we went 2-1. Our only loss came in the Heat and Celtics game. The Celtics defeated the Heat. Other than that, we picked the Lakers to top the Rockets, and we picked the Trailblazers to win their game as well. We picked the Trailblazers to top the Suns. Couldn't think who they played for a second. We picked them to top the Phoenix Suns, and they did that. So we are 2-1 going in to today, October 27th, 2010, and that is where we are going to make the picks. We start things off with the New York Knicks and the Toronto Raptors. And I don't really know where to even begin with this game. You know, I'm gonna say Knicks. I'm gonna say Knicks in the game. Because I still think Toronto has a lot of work to do. Miami and Philadelphia, Miami, you don't really, I'm not too worried about Miami. They didn't look great. Their shots weren't good yesterday. I did watch the game. Their shots weren't good yesterday. Their defense is, spotty at times. They only scored 9 points in the first quarter, which was the lowest they've scored in any quarter. They did not score 9 points in a quarter all year last year. They scored more than 9. I guarantee you, it's probably the only time this season that you're going to see that. It wasn't good. It didn't look good, but the Celtics didn't look good either. Celtics had a lot of problems with turnovers last night. Miami gets the bounce back against Philadelphia. I think they do that quite easily. I've got the Heat. Speaking of Boston, they're next on our list. They play Cleveland. How's Cleveland going to be without LeBron? Well, looking at the NBA power rankings from FactSports.com, which I know doesn't mean a whole lot because nobody's really played a game. Looking at where they are, I definitely think that they're going to struggle without having LeBron. Because if they couldn't win a championship with LeBron, they're going to definitely struggle to win one without LeBron. I think Boston plays better. I think they clean up their game a lot better than what they did. Turnovers. Way too many turnovers for them last night. They have to avoid that. I think they will. And I do have Boston coming up victorious tonight. Next up, we've got the Pistons and the Nets. The Nets, I think, are slowly going to get better. I don't think they're going to struggle as bad as they did last year. I don't think they're going to be a contender. But I don't think they're going to play as bad as they did last year. But I've got to go against them here, unfortunately. For Net fans, I've got to go with the Pistons. Next up is the Spurs and the Timberwolves. And, I'm kind of a Timberwolves fan, kind of a Buck fan. But I do have to say this. I have to go against the Timberwolves here. They're going to struggle again this year. They're going to be a little bit better, not a lot better. Kevin Love is maturing nicely, but they don't have a whole lot of depth. They don't have a whole lot of experience on that court, and they're going to continue to struggle, even though the game is at home, even though it's at the Target Center. And, being around the Target Center like I was on Sunday, you could tell that, basketball was kind of in the air, but Sacramento wins this game. The Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks, and Memphis Grizzlies is next on our list. And I've got to go with the Hawks. I think the Hawks made the playoffs last year. I think they do it again this year, and it starts off with a win against Memphis today. Next up, we've got the Bucks and the Hornets. Bucks and New Orleans are in New Orleans. I've got to go with the Bucks, and no, I'm not going to be a homer all year, but I've got to go with the Bucks here, and I think the Bucks will be good. Yeah, I don't think they'll be great, but I think they'll be good. Next up, we've got the Chicago Bulls, Oklahoma City Thunder. I've got the Thunder. Kevin Durant going for another scoring title. I don't necessarily know if he'll get it, but I've got the Thunder. Charlotte and Dallas. Charlotte and Dallas. That's I'm gonna go with Dallas. I've got to go with Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I'm gonna go with that, I think. Next up, we've got the Pacers and the Spurs. By the way, I think I called Sacramento the Spurs. I apologize for that. They're the Kings. I know it. I know my basketball teams. I was just kind of distracted for a minute. Indiana Pacers, San Antonio Spurs. Spurs, I think, are going to win the game. By the way, I think it's the Charlotte Bobcats who Charlotte is. I apologize for that. Pacers aren't going to be very good. They upgraded their roster in the offseason quite a bit, and they're going to score a lot of points this year. But I don't think that they're going to really step out and be a big time team this year, and I don't think they're gonna surprise anybody, especially on an opening night. I've got the Spurs. Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets, of course. Denver going through a lot of the, what's gonna happen with, Carmelo. Is he gonna be a Knick? Is he gonna be a Bull? What's gonna happen there? I've got to go with Denver, though. I think that they will kind of put everything behind them. I think that they'll put everything behind them, not worry about that. Houston Rockets, Golden State Warriors. I've got to go with Houston. Houston, they lost last night to the Lakers, but they only lost by 2. They really impressed me last night. Houston's going to be a good team this year, and I think they beat Golden State today. And last on our list, we have Portland and the LA Clippers. Portland looks good. If they can stay healthy, Portland will be good, and I believe they beat the Clippers today. So those are my picks. Once again, just a quick recap of them. I've got the Heat over 76ers. I'm taking Boston over Cleveland, Detroit over New Jersey, Sacramento over Minnesota, Atlanta over Memphis, Milwaukee over New Orleans, Oklahoma City over Chicago, Dallas over Charlotte, I'm pretty sure I said the Knicks over the Raptors. However, if I'm wrong on that, go with the first one that I picked. I'm pretty sure I said the Knicks over the Raptors. Spurs over the Pacers, Nuggets over the Jazz, Rockets over the Golden State Warriors, and the Trailblazers over the Clippers. So those are my picks for today. I'll be back one more time after I'm going to preview Game 1 of the World Series. Good pitching matchup. Cliff Lee, Tim Lincecum. Stay tuned for that. On behalf of JMSports.org, JMSports 100 here on YouTube, I am Jonathan Mozette.